Today on the Luke Branquinho Show.
I was hurting for money when I showed up to Denver. I was riding like it too.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. That ride was so impressive because it was up over the top of that bull's neck at one point, and how you were able to get it back down, back into position. Again, one of the most impressive bull rides I think I've seen in a long time, if not ever. And it all starts right now. Stetson Wright, thanks for joining me, man. You always frequent the show often, and I appreciate you taking the calls and wanting to come on. But man, we got to talk about the NFR this year, world champion and all around, and the bull ride, and what a magnificent year, especially from having to sit out last year.
Yeah, it was a super good year, and there's like everybody already knows, they told me I wouldn't come back, and to win 2 gold buckles as soon as I returned, it was. I guess it was a long way back to it. It wasn't like I just showed back up and got them, but it was super good year, and I'm really looking forward to 2026.
Yeah, and we talk about winning 2 gold buckles, and we're going to talk about potentially a third one that got taken away, but I don't want to talk about that yet. But I do want to talk about you sitting in the parking lot of these winter rodeos last year, because what a lot of people don't understand is when you're out a year and a half, you don't have any qualifications, world champ, whatever. You have to, it's like you're starting from scratch, zero. You have to go earn your way back into those spots. And you sat in the parking lots at all these winter rodeos waiting for turnouts.
Yeah, and it was, which I love rodeoing, so it wasn't that big of a deal. But I did sit around. I sat in Denver from day one to the very end. And that probably, it's not the warmest place to sit there and hang out, but it was worth it. And every one of them rodeos I'd call, see what I was on the alternate list to see if maybe I didn't have to sit there. I'd get a phone call, and I didn't even know the alternate list went down to 80 in the rough stock events. And like I was 80 to 90 on every single one of them. So I realized I wasn't going to get a phone call to get in. So I would sit there, and I mean, most of the time you don't want to be walking up at rodeos, especially those ones, because if somebody's turning out, there's a reason why, because they're big enough that you want to get on that. So if guys are turning out, you don't want to get on what they're turning out, because they ain't good.
Junk.
Yeah, it was most of them, especially in the bronc riding, they were junk. Like I probably shouldn't have got on. And in the bronc riding, I probably won a couple $1,000 at them big winter rodeos that I walked up to, but that was enough. I probably won enough that it got me into the finals, because it did get sketchy there towards the end of the season where I sat and watched everybody, but it was worth it.
Well, I want to go back to Denver. The first one you sat in the parking lot at, the whole rodeo, and you ended up winning second in the bull riding. And in all honesty, probably one of the most impressive bull rides that I've seen in a long time. And why you weren't 95 on that bull is beyond me. And it was so impressive. In fact, we'll show a clip of it here. But just to be able to come back and go to Denver like that, and I think you ended up winning second in the average.
Yeah, I was high money earner, but I was second in the, I guess, overall when it comes to the short round, because they crowned the champion of the short round, not the high money earner, which I would much rather be the high money earner.
We have enough trinkets and buckles. As long as that money comes in at first places, we're fine.
And I was hurting for money when I showed up to Denver. I was riding like it too.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. That ride was so impressive, because it's almost your right leg. It was up over the top of that bull's neck at one point, and how you were able to get it back down, back into position. Again, one of the most impressive bull rides I think I've seen in a long time, if not ever.
That was Ringland Road Shad Smith's. He'd always been right there around the left, and I think in a way I cheated him, and when he stepped around there, he slipped a little bit, and I was still going left, and my right leg did shoot over, but luckily my toe caught on the top of his hump, and it stopped me, or whatever stopped me. But yeah, then he gathered himself back up, went right, and it was a fun ride. I thought I was going to be 90 something, but whenever they slip, for some reason, when they judge, like if a horse barely stumbles, the ride goes from 93 down to 81. They force you to take the re-ride, but I was lucky enough to be 88, and Shad told me, he says, the re-ride, you ain't going to be that many. So I was like, all right, well,
Just
I guess
take it.
I'll take second place today.
Yeah, well, again, just such an impressive from being told, hey, you're not going to come back, to what you did, not only in the bull riding, but your bull riding percentage. Like, you didn't get bucked off a bull until it was the American, when your bull rope broke. And
Yeah.
that was was that in Tulsa, I believe?
Yeah, it was in Tulsa. Yeah.
So how many bulls from Denver to that did you stay on?
Counting amateur rodeos, practice pen, pro rodeos, I think I'd rode like 15 or 16 in a row, and then that happened, and which I didn't really care that I was on a streak, but when I bucked off that nice one in Tulsa, I was like, oh gosh. But then I went to San Antonio after, and it went really good there.
Yeah, San Antonio, that's a good one. And that's tournament style bracket format, right? And a lot of these winter rodeos are changing that their formats are that way now. So you're able to show up, ride 2 or 3 bull. I'm not sure what it is in the rough stock, when time bench you run 3, and then high money winners move on to the semifinals. What are your thoughts? I mean, you were around a little bit before the tournament style bracket rodeo started, to where it was just ride 2 and then go to the aggregate. What are your thoughts on that? Do you like these better, or?
I like the tournament stuff more, because like it's super hard to get. Well, Denver, for one, is one that's still in the old system, to where you got whatever, how many days it is, a bunch, and like it's a drawn contest there, to where in a bracket system, you're riding against the guys that you're up against that night, and it's easier for us, level the playing field of the bulls and horses, and then before you leave there that you're going to the semifinals or not. And then Denver, you sit there in the cold and hope that you make the semis. But I really like the bracket system.
It'll help you set your pins, like you're saying. You could have a pin of buckers, a pin of hoppers, same in the bull riding, where they try to do that as well in the time events too.
Yeah, even if they have a pen of crap, everybody has a pen of crap. So like it's super even. I don't care if I get on a crap horse, especially when everybody else is. Like that's the good part of the bracket system. I really prefer to draw into the rank pen or something good like that. But if you're getting on the same as everybody else, I got zero complaints.
Bronc riding, it seemed like it maybe the spring where it started to really take hold and starting to get some good checks and move your way up into the standings.
The American was my, I guess you could say, breaking point. Like it was going so bad that like I didn't even know what to do. So I went home, threw my saddle on the ground, told my dad, I said, you set this thing. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. All I know is he let it out a bunch. And then it started going really good. San Angelo, I placed. Red Bluff, I placed there. And then, like, I wasn't winning, but I was winning money.
When we come back from break, Stetson is going to break down the National Finals Rodeo from his perspective. You say that it didn't go good. Obviously, you rode well enough up to Puyallup to make the national finals, which, I guess guy like you, your expectations are higher. We just don't want to make them. We want to go in at the top, and completely understandable. Going back to Puyallup and getting stepped on, and, it's one of those deals where we got there, we have a chance to extend our winnings, to get higher in the standings. And then this happens. You weren't able to get on your bull. It took you out till the circuit finals. So you had month and a half off?
Yeah, it felt like the worst timing ever. Because I will say, right before Puyallup, Filer and Lewiston, like I did feel like the bronc riding started to click again. Like I was drawing good. I was winning, like Ellensburg and Walla Walla, actually, because I placed good in Ellensburg. won Walla Walla, and like I went from just barely in the top 15, and I jumped clear up to ninth, and it felt like I was about to start catching ground on everybody.
Right.
And then, but I still think my saddle wasn't set correct, because the way that happened in Puyallup, like it was, I think that only comes from riding too short. I think everything was too short, and I just run out the back on that horse and then get stomped on. And you never see that either. Like that was, you never see professional guys get stomped on by horses the way that happened. And I'm a big believer in everything happens for a reason. I don't know why I had to go home, but I needed to.
So from the time you started, that was the first time were just sat out from injury all year long. So, I mean, you were rolling, getting on bulls, broncs, and just dominating. But that was the first time you're like, oh man, now I'm missing the last part of the season, like the fourth quarter. Sioux Falls coming up, one of the biggest rodeos of the year.
Yeah, and like it was super hard for me not to just go to Sioux Falls. I'm like, I can deal with a little bit of rib pain. And it was funny because I started like the race and the bull riding was, well, there's always a race, especially with the money that's in the NFR. But like I won Ellensburg, and like I just started to win everything in the bull riding, where I started separating myself from everybody. And it took till Sioux Falls for me to finally get past, but it was pretty discouraging to watch that I'd finally caught a groove that I was gonna step away from everybody else. So that was hard to watch, and that's why I wanted to go to Sioux Falls, is because I knew that they could catch me there. And I was like, if I just rode a couple bulls, I'd be fine. My dad was like, you don't have to. Like, there's enough money at the finals. Don't worry about it. He goes, even in the bronc riding, you can still win the world. And as low as I came in, I think that was the first time. If I wouldn't have my dad, that was the first time going in that I felt like maybe the bronc riding I didn't have a chance. But he just kept pounding my head. He goes, there's enough money there. It's very doable. Don't worry about it. He goes, it's still yours. I'm like, all right. Which I say that, and I never talk about my brothers. He says the same things to them. Like he's not just he was telling them the same thing. But the way that the NFR ended the bronc riding was, I mean, I wish I would have been the guy that came out on top, but to be 1, 2, and 3 with Ryder and Statler, I think that's so awesome.
Yeah, you guys definitely put a show on out there in the bronc riding. But I want to get to the finals now, starting off round number 1, and really it's a heavyweight bout for an all-around championship, along with a bull riding championship between you and Wasey.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest with you, Wasey. And Tim O'Connell said this, nobody really thought of Wasey as a bareback rider, which obviously he is, made the national finals, but he was more considered a bull rider. He came out and was dominating in those first few rounds in the bareback riding as well.
Yeah, and I know exactly how he feels, because everybody has considered me. Well, still to this day, they talk to me like I'm just a bull rider, and I'm like, I can ride broncs, like I can do that too. But I feel Wasey on that, and I think Wasey even shocked himself as how good he rode in them 10 days. And I was really impressed with the way he rode, and I think for the years to come, it's only going to get funner.
Yeah, and you guys have proved that just this last year. And I mean, going round for round, each round in the bronc riding, bull riding, bareback riding, back and forth. I mean, in all honesty, we haven't seen a race like that, especially in the rough stock, in many years. And you guys made it fun.
Yeah, I found it really fun. Like as fun as it is to blow everybody out of the water, like, and I'm still gonna try to do that. Like I'm not gonna slow down and hope that there's a race. Like I'm gonna try to blow everybody out of the water. But when there is a race, I love to be a part of it. And just like in the bronc riding, that race was so fun from start to finish. And there was some wrenches thrown into it that made it a little bit harder. But when it came down to the 10th round, I still had a chance. Ryder did. Statler, Zeke, Damian Brennan. Like,
Yeah.
there was multiple guys that had a chance, and it made it so fun.
Well, the bronc riding and this, what was it? $350 was what separated the championship between Ryder and Statler.
Yeah, and Statler
And
told me
you and Ryder split the round.
yeah, and if we wouldn't have, if Ryder would have won it outright, he would have won the
He's
world.
the champ.
So it's crazy how things line up, and that's why I say I'm a big believer in everything happens for a reason, because like they're going into, what was it, round 6? Like, I was projected to win the world.
We're going to go to break, and when we come back, I'm going to ask Stetson about his round 6 controversial call. I do want to go back and talk about the round 6 call, because I have an attachment to it, not a personal like you, but in 2009, I got flagged out in the 10th go round because the flagger didn't think I had a hand on a steer. Had we had instant replay, I strongly feel it would have got overturned, in the right way, how they do the times and add the times and all that. Going back to you, they said, well, the rowel was not in contact with the horse's neck. I don't know anything about bronc riding, but if the rowel's not in contact with the horse's neck and that horse's front feet hit the ground, there is nothing holding your foot up, and your foot will fall. Well,
and that's the thing on the call is I knew how that horse left before. Like, I knew guys had struggled to get him marked out because he'll roll his head back and push. And so what I did was kind of an old school move. I rough locked him before he had anywhere to go. Like, my feet were in his neck before that gate had even opened. So I knew that I marked him out. I knew that there was contact because I had it in him before he even left. So when everybody started talking about the contact deal, I'm like, you guys are just trying to justify the wrongness of this call. Like, and it was all dumb. And there's right and wrong. Like, the call that was made as soon as it happened, the guy was in the wrong deal, and what he's seen was the second jump, so he threw it. I don't have a problem with that at all. Like, that, he's human and people make wrong calls, and there's a lot going on, especially at the NFR. But when it went to the replay, because when I got off, I seen the flag and I was just like, we're good. And when I went back and realized that they weren't going to change it, I was deflated as they come. But I know now that whatever. There was a reason behind why they didn't change the call, and maybe they didn't have a camera view good enough. But the one that I seen, all the camera views I seen, it was pretty obvious to me. But I'm completely over it. I try not to live in the past. I'll go do it again next year.
That's it. Well, but my argument is, okay, you made a call. Explain your call to us. Don't, I mean, if you have a camera view, let's see it. Explain your call. And I did talk to the judges, and they said that they didn't feel like the spur. Okay, you have almost 24 hours to make the right call if you want to do it correctly and have the right guy win. I know they say they only get like 10 seconds to review a ride or a run because rodeo's moving so fast. Well, they could keep reviewing that ride or run, continuing throughout the rodeo, and make the right call. Do I think you got hosed? Absolutely. Do I think they made the wrong call? Absolutely. We're going to go to break, and when we come back, we're going to have more with Stetson Wright. Do I think you got hosed? Absolutely. Do I think they made the wrong call? Absolutely. Go ahead and admit that, hey, we messed up. And I did hear that was a case. One of the judges like, oh, hey, listen, we messed up, but they didn't let that get out there. Make it right. And if anything, if we ever want to become a professional, legitimate sport, we need to make sure the right calls are made and made properly. And I'm sorry again that you got hosed. I felt like I did way back when, but there was no instant replay. But now we're at a point in our industry where we should be able to make these right calls.
Yeah, and when they make a wrong call in the NFL, that's one play. You got a whole game to change the outcome of it. That's one ride,
Yeah.
and it changes everything. And another thing, I'm not on a salary. Like, I'm not getting paid millions. I would have a completely different thought on this if I was going home and making whatever the NFL guys do, but I don't. Like, I show up and I try to perform, and you know exactly how that is. Like, you show up, try to win, because like if you don't win, you get nothing, and maybe a pat on the back saying try again next year. But on the other deal, I'm not the first guy that this has ever happened to. I won't. Well, I hope that I'm the last. I truly hope that I'm the last, from the time event side to the rough stock. I hope I am the last, and I hope that everybody does do better. But I have not. I didn't lose sleep over it that night, so I'm not gonna lose sleep over it.
2026, it's among us, and you're going to be right back in the winner's circle and going after that Triple Crown this year.
Heck yeah, that's what we're gonna try to do.
All right, man. Well, good luck in 26. I'm sure we'll be talking to you. And thank you all for watching the Luke Branquinho Show.